Yo, this is Nova Trifecta. I am Jimmy Fedora, aka Alias,
Mag Negro.
and we have a really. It's not. I'm not gonna call him a guest. This is basically family. You know,
Coming home.
coming home.
Family.
My guy, the chef, the captain, Ricky Hedrick. Say hello to the people.
Hello to the people. C'est moi.
Hey,
Well, how have you been, Ricky?
I've been pretty well. Been pretty well. Busy. Being a dad, they don't tell you when you have kids that it's going to consume you between that and trying to work, right? So,
that's why
um,
you shouldn't freaking have them.
well, there's this thing. Have you ever had like the birds and bees talk?
Yeah.
Something about like the bee and like pollen, and something about like a bee stings a bird, and then like baby bees come flying out of the dead bird carcass.
Is that the
Yeah.
actual talk that you're supposed to have? Like, is that
Maybe
what?
not. I
I
don't think
only
that's it.
heard
I
it on
think
shows, sitcom shows. I only heard it on there, and they never get far enough. Because every time they bring it up, the kid's like, "Oh, Dad, I've heard the birds and the bees talk." They never actually get out the birds and the bees
like
talk.
what does it have to do with birds and bees, right?
Yeah,
That is the truth. I got to do more research on that.
yeah.
It's actually yeah.
Well, we are here to give you the Wandavision review, episodes 1 and 2. Um, this is the first taste of post MCU, post uh, post Tony dying, I believe. No, we had Spider Man. We had Spider Man post Tony.
The
Um,
first bit of Marvel content in the apocalypse era.
That's true.
he called it Apocalypse. That's
Yeah,
exact. That's exactly what it is. So
yeah.
initially, what I want to get you guys' opinion on is the acting, the characters. What do you think about the acting and the characters before we really get into the story of what's going on?
Ricky, you want to go first?
Hey, yeah, I'll take it. As far as like acting, I'm blown away so far with Paul Bettany playing Vision. That's I'll be honest, Vision might be the most boring character in all of the Avengers, and that's really saying something because I think Black Widow it doesn't get any more boring than that. But
Why do
Vision's
you
been
hate
incredibly
Black Widow
boring.
so?
How in the world do you think Black Widow? First
I don't
off,
know.
First off, she's one of the most interesting people to look at on planet Earth.
I mean, I'll
Okay?
give you that.
That's the first
I'm
thing.
not even gonna.
I mean, I don't even know how you can associate the word boring with anything Scarlett Johansson is doing. She is an
I'll just
interesting looking person before she even
yeah.
starts playing the character.
I mean, you're not wrong at all. But I don't know, man. Like, I'm just not. Just I don't love Black Widow
Sexist.
like as a character. I don't love
Sexist.
Black Widow's character. I'm not a sexist.
Male
I don't love.
chauvinistic pig.
Oh my gosh. I think that Wanda is way more interesting than Black Widow. Way more interesting. I
Oh yeah,
appreciate Wanda a lot
I
more.
can definitely see that. Yeah.
God, Wanda's powers are better than being just like a super spy. Like
Yeah.
I'm
That's true.
like I super spy is kind of worn out to me, and I guess that's part of it. Like I'm just like spy burnt out.
Yeah.
But as far as like Vision, so Vision's been particularly boring in movies, right? So seeing like Paul Bettany completely outside of what I'm imagining is his comfort zone has been a treat to me. Like the guy can act. I know he's been completely over the top, and that's kind of the big thing. Like all the acting has been like really over the top, but I think it's written to be that way, and I think he's acting the heck out of it, and so is Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
but out of all of them, I think that the MVP so far I've seen is the neighbor that Agnes, played by Catherine Hahn. Like she's gold, man.
Talking about Agnes,
Yep, she
Agatha.
might be Agatha, Agnes, something like that. She's
Yeah.
like she's been the MVP to me so far in 3 episodes.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at
I
that.
I actually juicy.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead. That's all I was gonna ask.
I'm impressed personally with Elizabeth Olsen. Um, First off, I think she's drop dead gorgeous.
I'm sensing a thread.
Honestly, I'll be real. The only thing that I've actually found really interesting in the first two episodes is just how good looking Wanda is. She's a very good looking person. Like, she's so attractive. But that's the only thing that I found interesting in the two episodes. But the acting has been phenomenal. The acting's phenomenal. The build-up is phenomenal. We know what's coming. We know something's coming. We got this overwhelming faith in Marvel. But I did think they were a little bit boring. But I thought the acting was great. And I think Lizzie Olsen is doing a great job. Right now, she's the standout to me. To me, she's owning the whole thing. When she goes into those phases where she's almost kind of snapping out of what's going on, to me, she's killing those moments.
I agree. And that's one thing I like about it. The acting has been phenomenal. I will give you that. They nailing the 50 sitcom, over the top, looking at the camera like you're on an actual TV show on a live set. So I will give them that. But for me, I think it's very boring. I actually fell asleep on it. I'm gonna just be real on y'all. And I love acting and stuff like that. I fell asleep on the second episode and I woke up and I actually text Shad, this shit is, I text the group chat. I said, this shit is ass. And so like that was my first impression.
Said, by the way.
You said what now?
That's exactly what your message said, by the way.
It did. I was like, man, this ass. So actually let's get into it, for the people, that's watching this review. They married, they move into the town of Westview. It's the 1950s, they try to blend in, all that good stuff. And on the calendar, it's a heart. And I'm curious to see what that date actually means too, going down the line. I'm pretty
August
sure.
23rd.
Yeah, I believe it's August 23rd. August 23rd. And so I'm pretty sure they're gonna play a significant part down the road, but it's a heart. And Wanda thinks it's their anniversary. Paul Bettany Vision, he thinks it's something else. But going through that, what you guys think about the first episode? Let's get into the first episode first.
I like the first episode. It felt like we were watching an episode of Dick Van Dyke, like almost exactly like watching it. Like if Dick Van Dyke and the witch,
the set was almost identical to Dick Van Dyke.
Almost.
The kitchen, the blinds, all of that was almost identical to the Dick Van Dyke show.
Yeah, it felt like if somebody made those two shows, like made them have a baby, and that's what you got out of it.
Yeah,
like shot for shot, it felt exactly like that. The acting, the way that it was over the top, the kind of the melodramatic moments, the trying to get the dinner together, it all just felt, to me, it's what I liked about it, is it felt comfortable to me. Like watching those old shows from the 50s are like comfort TV to me occasionally. Like I'll watch like Andy Griffith, and like I'll watch like The Witch if I can find it on TV and stuff like that, so I like that kind of stuff. So it felt comfortable to me.
But let me ask you this, Rick. So like I know you like it and you felt comfortable. That's more of your taste, your speed. I know you know how to appreciate art and things of that nature. But in this first episode, and we'll get to the second episode too, don't you think that they can lose the casual fan that's watching it, that's catching up on this, with the Marvel train, and the kids? At the end of the day, it's driven by kids as well, watching it with their parents. So don't you think, in this first episode and the second, that you can lose somebody, especially like me? I'm a big Marvel head, and I'm like, I'm sticking with it because I know, what's going, down the line, they're gonna make everything piece together. What you think about that?
Well, the casual fan, you're probably gonna have it's probably gonna be a lot harder sell, because to me, I feel like this show was designed for us,
okay,
like the really deep Marvel people. To me, the entire show, it's nothing but an Easter egg hunt. Like every scene, like there's some kind of Easter egg to look for. It's kind of like when you're watching like The Haunting of Hill House, and you're looking for those ghosts. There's a ghost like in every shot almost.
Yeah, that's true.
So you just got to look and find it. It's the same with this show and Easter eggs, man. They're all over the place. You know,
Yeah,
I feel like it was designed for us and not really for the casual fan.
yeah. Well, I was talking to two teenagers today that I used to coach, and they're just now getting into the MCU, just now getting into the movies, just watched all of them, you know, in a row on Disney Plus and everything. And they asked me questions about it because they know I'm a Marvel head. And the first thing I told them today when they asked me about WandaVision, I told them, I was like, I don't know if y'all gonna like it because they don't really know what's coming. They don't know what's about to happen to Wanda. They don't know they're not piecing together that she's gonna go mad when she loses Vision and, you know, things like that. So they're not gonna be piecing that stuff together. They're gonna be watching this thinking that it's gonna be some action stuff or some deep suspense type of stuff, or it's really gonna be, you know, giving them some kind of excitement or entertainment value. And for the casual fan, they're probably not going to get that from these two episodes unless they love the old 50s and 60s style made for TV. Now, I'm like you, Ricky. I grew up watching Andy Griffith, and I Love Lucy used to be one of my favorite shows on television. I grew up watching Nick at Night. So I love those old shows. So I was able to find solace in watching that style. And I was like, hey, that's cool. That would happen in an old 50s or 60s sitcom when Vision when Vision picked up Wanda and walked through the door and she fell.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. That's something that I could see happening on Bewitched if somebody had that type of power. Or something like that. So
But
I was like, okay.
Bashad, this is the thing. It's cool for the first episode to do that.
I agree.
I give you
agree.
that.
I think they've overdone it.
Okay.
To me, because I got bored during the second episode. Even the first one, I was like, all right, it's getting old now. After the first 10 minutes, I was like, okay, all right, I get it. It's a 50s and 60s sitcom right now. I understand that, but it's getting old. I didn't think you were actually gonna play the whole episode out as a 50s and 60s sitcom. So it got old to me real fast. The shit got old to me real fast.
Yeah.
So
see to me, I think that's part of the thing. I think they can. To me, I think that they can get that pass for doing that. That they did it because they know they can get a pass.
yeah,
Like the first episode is very clearly a 50s sitcom. Second episode is very clearly a 60s sitcom.
yeah,
You know, next week's gonna be, unless I'm just completely wrong, it's gonna be like a 70s sitcom.
yeah.
You know,
The color came
I
in.
think that they are going to go through those decades. I think that this is it's new. This is another new version of storytelling, and I think that they can get a pass for doing the two episodes like over the top, 50s, 60s, black and white. Because I mean, even with casual fans, man, that in how many years has it been since Iron Man came out?
2008.
Yeah.
And how many movies have come out in between? I think that
about 21, 22 movies.
Yeah. I think that even the most casual person out on the street has become desensitized to the point that, you know, at this point we're expecting kind of that turn.
Yeah.
Like we're going to get with WandaVision, you know, so truthfully there may not be any just casual fans like you would normally think of, because I think that people are going to they're still going to give them that pass and still going to tough it out because they know.
But
Yeah.
but like
That's coming.
after such a long hiatus, and this is a new thing. I get what
Yeah.
you're saying with the movies and things like that. You launching something totally new when you dipping your toes in the shows, in the series over a prolonged period of time. I get having good faith with the fans and things of that nature, but shouldn't the first two episodes be better than that? It should give you more, because like it's like watching the 50s and 60s sitcom with maybe, I mean, I only caught one thing, and that was the Stark toasters. I mean, and that's kind of boring with it being a new thing.
Yeah.
I think that the Stark toaster got more significance than we think it does.
Oh no, I think
that it's got something to do with Wanda's past and the bombs that killed her parents and stuff like that. So I can kind of see the connection there. The Stark, when I think about Stark and Wanda, the first thing that comes to mind is they never really did like each other. She never really did warm up to Tony. And you know, as you know, in the Age of Ultron, their whole thing was we're gonna get Tony back for what he done. So I think that her having that in whatever dream world she's in right now, I think it's got something to do with her, you know, her past and the bomb that killed her parents and everything like that. So I think that's a nice Easter egg. I like the blood on the well, that's the second episode. We'll get to that. But I like the Easter eggs, and I love when it got real creepy when the wife kept saying,
stop it.
I'm like,
stop it.
I'm like, oh,
I did like that.
About to happen.
Something
about to happen. Yeah, I like that. So yeah.
It's like a puzzle box, right? And it's like a and it's almost like watching an episode of Lost to me. It's like there's little pieces that just kind of just start coming together. Like it seems like everything's disassociated and kind of out of left field, but it's gonna start really like coming together, like little pieces. Like you're watching it and it's this 50s sitcom, and then there's an ad about Stark Industries toaster ovens.
Yeah.
Right. And then you're like, okay, well then there's that, right? And then the scene, like you said, with the stop it. Like that was creepy. You know, so it's like that there's one more piece to this. It's like, oh, here this goes, right? And then then you realize that somebody is watching the show on their television.
Yeah.
And their television right next to it has an insignia for sword.
Yeah.
So
it has what now?
Did you not notice that?
No. Explain.
Yeah, sword. So you've got like two main government agencies in the Marvel universe that are basically the protectors of Earth, right? You've got SHIELD, the boots on the ground, and then you have SWORD, which is the space version of SHIELD. And the very last shot of the first episode, you know, when it pulls back and it shows like the television screen and somebody's sitting there and turns it off.
Yeah. You didn't catch that?
No, I didn't.
There's a computer screen. There's a computer screen right behind it.
I didn't see the
sword.
Yeah, I didn't see the symbol. I know what scene you're talking about, but I didn't see, what you described.
Yeah, it pops up there at the end. So, you know, I trust the process on this. It may seem boring and it may seem kind of crap, but there's more to it than meets the eye, and that's to me. I think that the big picture. I think that it's like these first two episodes are going to be a blip on the radar by the time it's over with. Like it's going to be such a small portion of it.
I'm with you. I definitely think that Marvel. I was telling somebody at my job the other day, we were talking about MCU and Marvel, and I'm like, this has been like the greatest achievement in cinematic history, what they've done, because what they've done is they built up such a trust with the fans that they can take these types of risks. They can make two boring first episodes for the betterment of the story, because it's going to be painting a bigger picture down the line. And we know that because we trust them. We trust the content that they've given us for all of these years. We know it's going to be a big payoff. We just got to make it through these kind of boring parts right here that may not be as entertaining, but we know that it's going to get better. And even though it seems boring right now, the acting and the way that they put everything together is still masterful. That's why they get such high ratings.
And so,
the way they put this stuff together is just is genius.
So basically, like what I'm getting from y'all is like, well, Ricky, mainly the payoff. The payoff is going to be great, more so than the first two episodes. Don't judge them too harshly, but the payoff, which I agree with you, I believe the payoff going to be great in the end. But just these episodes we got to grade what we see. But I mean, I'm in agreement with you. You know, the payoff better be good. Shit. Okay. So like basically the first episode ends. You know, they have a dinner party. Um, Vision thinks that the big date is having I guess a dinner date with the boss. Wanda thinks it's their anniversary. Can't nobody remember shit. To make a long story short, don't a lot of things happen. They had dinner. His boss end up choking on something. Vision uses powers to get the shit out of his throat, and we go to the next episode. That's pretty much in the nutshell. All right, the second episode is set in the 60s. Um, you know, they have a magic show. Now, I called Shad and I said that this magic show and this whole magic scene was so fucking unnecessary, long drawn out and boring. What say you?
Thought it was boring too. Like I got it, but I still thought it was boring. I tell you the one thing I liked about the second episode. Well, no. It's a couple of things that I liked about the second episode, but I still thought it was boring. I loved how they went cartoon when they showed what happened to the gum once Vision swallowed it.
That was cool.
That was cool.
You know what? To take it back, even the intro was cool. I give you that. The intro to the episode was cool too.
Yeah. I love when Wanda saw the bee. Is that a bee hunter or? We're
gonna get there. We're gonna get there. I'm actually
okay. But yeah, I do think it was boring. I ain't gonna lie. I'd be lying if I said I didn't think it was boring.
What you gonna say, Rick?
I don't like to down anything Marvel, and I know it's gonna be a big payoff. I know it, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't think that part was boring. I did.
I thought that was the best part of the whole episode. I thought that was the best part of both episodes.
You like the magic show?
I love the magic show because there's something else going on in that magic show.
It is something else going on. I know it. It is something.
There's something else going on. Somebody does not want everybody else in that neighborhood to know that they have powers.
I agree.
Wanda has come to that realization, right? And Vision's doing this magic show, and he's low-key drunk because he's got his system all gummed up with gum, which sounds 60s and kind of funny, right? Yeah. So he's doing this magic show, and he's like, he's drunk. He's drunk on power. Fuck it, gonna use my powers. Why not, right? And she's trying to prevent him from doing that. Yeah. There's like a balancing act, and I enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed watching him go to try to use some actual like vision magic, and then poof, she fixes it. Yeah. Like when she turns the piano into a piece of cardboard.
I love that part when she turned the piano into a cardboard.
I love that when he starts floating, and then she poof, and then there's it was like watching I Dream of Jeannie.
Yeah,
it was just like watching an episode of I Dream of Jeannie, and I loved it.
It's like they're mixing. It's like they took Dick Van Dyke, they took I Love Lucy, they took Bewitched, they took I Dream of Jeannie, and they mixed it with the Truman Show, and they mixed it with the Avengers, and that's what what they came out with.
They did that.
So that's the reason why I'm saying the way they put things together and the way they write their content is genius. I appreciate the nuance. It's genius. I appreciate it more than I was entertained. Yeah. I wasn't that entertained, and I'll be honest about that. I wasn't. But I appreciate the genius. I do.
I could say that. I could piggyback off that. I do appreciate the genius, like you say. I just went I was bored. One thing I did like, all of those shows that y'all just said, they incorporated. But my favorite part of the whole thing was the color they added to things. Like the helicopter that she seen when she walked outside in the bushes.
Those are Iron Man colors on that helicopter.
It is.
You notice that?
Yeah, I did notice that.
That's Iron Man colors. Something's weird going on there.
Yeah, I did notice that. And for me, it took me back to one of my favorite movies of all time. One of the most underrated movies ever is Pleasantville. With Tobey Maguire.
Exactly what that was like.
Yeah, like with Tobey Maguire. You know what I'm talking about? And so like
absolutely.
It took me back to that kind of it gave me a good feeling because it took me back. I love that movie, and so I
Those
did
people
like
were
that.
horny.
You said what?
There's some Stepford Wives
Those
in
people
there
were
and
horny.
everything.
Yeah, that was kind of cool, I will say. And so you know, toward the end of the episode, they come back, they hear something outside, and they see a beekeeper come out the sewer. And Wanda says no. Like it's like she knew what was going on, sorta, and she said no, and she rewinded shit. What do y'all think about that? That's what you
To
I
me, that
think
was the okay. Go ahead, Ricky.
all right. I think that I'm not saying that she knows where she is. I think that her subconscious knows just enough that when like little parts of like maybe the outside world start bleeding through like that, like she's trying to stop it because I think that we are. I don't want to get into it yet. Sean, I'm gonna let you go because I'm about to hit a wall that I don't want to get to until we
Okay.
like get to the end of this. So
Okay. I think that Wanda is more powerful than she knows. And she knows something isn't right. She also is extremely happy. And at its heart, this is a love story at its heart. The way they created the rings and made the rings just come out of nowhere and they had a marriage right there on the spot, that was romantic. At its heart, this is a romantic show. And it's about the love between Wanda and Vision. She is in love with Vision and she is happy. So when she saw the beekeeper, she stopped it and rewound so they wouldn't have to go through that. Because if you pay attention to what happened in Avengers Infinity War, they were happy there. And then boom, everything started happening. It kills their joy. It kills their happiness. And she stopped it and she rewound it. That was the coolest part of the episode to me, that she done that. So she knows, like you said, she knows enough. She knows something. She's got to be in some kind of control somewhere because she wouldn't have been able to do that.
so
But
let me,
somebody is obviously
yeah.
screwing with her.
So it seems to me, just listening to what y'all saying in y'all perspective, to me it seemed like it's setting up to be a tragedy. Because
It is setting up to be a tragedy. Now she's pregnant.
well, yeah, well, because if this is an alternate reality that she created, I'm just saying, I'm just throwing the theory out there. And in the real world, Vision is dead.
Yeah.
She created this reality, or if it's in her head, to be happy.
Yeah.
And so,
Maybe.
like, maybe seeing that beekeeper, knowing that, shit can get back real like that, and Vision is no longer here.
Yeah.
yeah. See, that's okay. So can we go on ahead? Can I just?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that. So I think that's what. So I think that's where we're at. I think that what's going on. I think that she has created her own little like Wanda universe in her brain,
Yeah.
where Vision's dead, her brother's dead, all that awful shit with Tony Stark and the bomb, and how she was trapped under the rubble, and all she could see was Stark Industries. I think that the stuff that Baron Strucker put her through, because that was the commercial in the second episode.
Yeah, I caught
the
it.
Strucker watch, the Hydra Strucker watch.
Yeah, I caught it.
I think that all of this trauma and everything that's happened, I think that it's juicy, supernatural. when Lucifer takes over Sam, they get Lucifer out, and Sam builds that dam in his brain.
Yeah.
And how when they keep scratching at it, and that wall comes down.
Yeah.
And all those memories of Lucifer and everything comes back to him, right? And it was the fifth season, I think.
Yeah, they blocked it out of his head.
Yeah.
And you keep scratching at it, and like that horror come back in, and you remember being tortured and everything that happened down there. You can't handle it.
Exactly.
Maybe that's what
Well, but
That's
look,
what's going
but
Oh
on.
look,
shit! Maybe that's
but
what set
look,
up the multiverse of madness. She goes
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
That's
But look,
exactly what I think's happening.
but look. Not only did Vision die, she had to watch him die twice.
Viciously.
She had to watch him. She had to kill him. You know what that's got to be like?
Yeah.
The only person that can do it is you. That's why I think one of the best lines in any Marvel movie that nobody ever talks about is right before Vision tells Wanda that she's got to do it. He says, "It's not fair, but it's got to be you." Ooh,
Yeah.
that's
Right.
cold. That's cold. She said, he told her, he said, "It's not fair, but it's got to be you. You're the only person alive that can do this right now.
She
You
thought.
just so happen to be in love with me."
He thought.
He thought.
Yeah.
So now she got to kill him. Thanos rewinds time and kills him again right in front of her.
And that one that was hard to watch. Like he killed violently.
Violently.
Yeah.
Picked him up by his neck and stuck his finger in his head and yanked the stone out of his head and threw him to the side like a piece of toilet paper.
Yeah.
She had to watch him die twice.
And
She's
all
gonna go
that trauma.
insane
Exactly.
when she gets woken up. And now she's pregnant.
See,
So something's gonna happen to the children too. And when it does, she's gonna go nuts.
Yeah. No, see, I don't think she's pregnant.
You don't think so?
No,
you know
I don't,
she has babies now in the comics.
I know that, but I don't think any of that's real.
You don't think so?
I don't think Vision's completely dead. I think that what we're seeing is inside of her head.
Yeah.
I think the Vision is dead. These kids, the kids aren't real. I don't think any of it's real.
Yeah.
I think that the people that she's interacting with, like her neighbor, I think that they are real. And I think that she has seen them or something wherever she is. You know, we're seeing what's going on inside of her head as she's dealing with the trauma and coping with the loss of like Vision and her brother and all that other stuff.
So you think the people you think some of the people there, prime example, the black chick.
Yeah.
It seemed like she don't know what the fuck going on because she was like, I don't know how I got back here. I just, I'm just back here.
Yeah.
So you think some of the people are there unknowingly, just like Wanda?
I think some of them know who she is.
Oh, I think the neighbor knows who she is.
She knows who she is. I think she's a witch or something like that.
What about the blonde-headed?
I think she's a witch.
What about the blonde-headed chick who she was reading Wanda for real?
She was, but I have no idea who she is or who she could be.
She was like, I don't think that's you. It's like she knew.
Yeah. And then the blood on her hand it's something going on there. I just don't know what it is. I'd be lying if I said I knew all this stuff. I don't, but I'm just trying to catch it. Like Ricky said, it's an Easter egg hunt at this point. Don't get me wrong. It is brilliantly, masterfully put together, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't bored watching it. I was bored, but it's brilliantly put together.
This is true. So, what we have to do, unfortunately, is grade these episodes 1 and 2.
Well, that's where it gets tricky, though.
Tricky.
It gets tricky because even if you weren't entertained, it's too brilliantly put together for you to give it a low score.
Okay, so Rotten Tomatoes gave it like a 94. Juicy J would not be giving it a 94. What we're gonna do? We're gonna scale it out of 10. So I'm gonna give it to the person that enjoyed it first. Give me episode 1 and episode 2 on a scale to 1 to 10.
And decimal points exist?
You said what?
Decimal points?
Oh yeah, the decimal point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So episode 1 out of 10, I'm definitely gonna give it a 9.
Okay.
Just because I'm not going to give anything a perfect score, but I thought that it was good. I thought that it's good enough for a 9.
So a 9 is like, that's tough because a 9 is like some of the best TV episode
I think that was.
that you've seen. So it's like Daredevil hallway scene.
Daredevil hallway scene is like a 9.7.
That's tough, Rick. That's tough to give it a 9. I'm saying like that's up there with some of the best TV that you've
I
seen.
think it is. I think that acting wise, I think that cinematography, I think that the direction, I think all the little loose Easter eggs scattered about. I think the set design, the costume design, the
I got a
music.
I got a problem with that because that like 10s are like House of Hill on the morgue scene, True Detective, the project scene with the single shot. Those are 10s of an episode. So you mean to tell me this episode of WandaVision is one tick behind that? That's tough.
I think it's one tick.
Woo! Ooh. That's tough.
But everything that fits in between that tick, there's a lot inside of that tick.
Okay.
Like the entirety of the wire is inside of that tick.
Yeah. I respect your opinion. And what about episode 2?
I'll give episode 2 honestly like a 9.1.
Okay.
Just slightly better.
Okay.
Like not by much, but just slightly better. Because I enjoyed, just because of the magic show to me, like I enjoyed the magic show more than anything in the first episode. But in terms of quality and everything else, I mean, they're about the same.
Okay. I mean, I respect it. What about you, Shad?
Check it out. They are. This is the San Antonio Spurs. You can be bored, but recognize and appreciate its greatness at the same time.
That is a fantastic
The San Antonio Spurs bored me from the year 1999 to the year 2019. I was bored watching the San Antonio Spurs. But when Tim Duncan and Ginobili and all of them retired, it's a little piece of my heart that went with them. I was bored. I hated them because I'm a Laker fan, so they went toe-to-toe with us a lot. So I hated them. I was always bored watching them, but I appreciated the brilliance. And that's exactly how I am with this show. Both episodes get an 8.5.
Oh my God.
From me.
There it is.
But you got to appreciate the way it was put together, from the acting to the wardrobe,
everything,
to the 50s style, to the 60s style, to everything, all that cheesy stuff that happened in 50s and 60s comedy shows that was great comedy back then. They found new creative ways to do that with superheroes. That's sick. And they found a way to incorporate these Easter eggs that we know and the Easter eggs that we didn't see.
Exactly.
That's in there, right, that we hadn't even caught yet. It's too brilliant, whether you were bored or not, it's too brilliant to go much lower than that. It's too brilliantly put together.
Well,
I would give both the first and second episode a 8.5.
I mean, I respect that. I really do. Y'all almost made me bold a couple of ticks. But for me, these are the first 2 episodes. And I feel like we have no place but to go but up. So like y'all giving it a 9, that means when we get down the line, it's nothing but 10s for the episode. 10s for me are just untouchable. Like I said, the Daredevil hallway scene episode, True Detective, single shot, Through the Projects, the last episode of True Detective. It's just episodes that's just classics. And I don't think this is a tick below that. So it's room for improvement. I'm gonna give it a 6.
Oh,
the first episode is a 6.
Low, Juicy. That's
No. The first episode is a 6, and the second episode is a 6.5.
That's too low, Juicy.
That is not too, bro. I'm telling you, like
that's too low.
I've watched a lot of TV, bro, and like that shit ain't.
You have.
Now I get the foreshadowing. Listen, I get the foreshadowing. I get what's coming down the line, but I'm saying I'm not grading it as a series, because as a series it might be a fucking 10 when we get done. But I'm saying like episode for episode, I was bored. I appreciate the fitness and 60 theme, the Pleasantville shit, the cheesy ass. It was cheesy. It was cheesy. It was slow. I fell asleep on it. I cannot give it. I just can't give it higher than a 6.5. I can't.
The stop it scene alone is higher than a 6.5.
That shit was below.
And then the stop when Wanda rewinds everything, that alone is higher than a 6.5.
That shit was below average. It's some shit. It's some shitty supernatural episodes. That was better than that I watched. It's better psych episodes that used to come on the USA. That was better than that.
You know what we done talked about before in the past.
It's better. It's better Rescue Me episodes.
You know we talked about in the past how everybody hates on Eminem in this era, but in the last era when he was dominant, they wasn't hating on him. And I've always said that Eminem is too good. He's too great of a rapper for you to give his album a low rating. The rapping is so well done that it's impossible for you to rate it low, even if it ain't your favorite.
Because like when you no, you can respect all that shit because you can listen to the joint before Kamikaze, the one he was trying to get all political and stuff like that. That shit was a 6. Rapping his ass off.
It got lost up its own asshole.
It can happen. It can happen.
It can, but it's really difficult. Like you really got to be nonchalant and go out of your way.
Hold on, I got a question. I got a question. So, Ricky, you've seen Titan, hadn't you?
I've seen what?
Titan, like the Teen Titan show.
Yeah, I've seen about half the first season.
Okay. The first 2 episodes of Titan versus the first 2 episodes of WandaVision. Which one better?
WandaVision.
Okay.
Juicy, it sounds like you going more on the theatrical. I think you grading it unfairly because the pandemic came around, but that's not Marvel's fault that we haven't had content in a year. And you was real excited and wanted to see something spectacular in the first 2 episodes.
It didn't have to be spectacular.
It
didn't have to be spectacular. It just had to be good.
You are being
wasn't
unfair
good
because we've gone through a pandemic. People are.
It wasn't good.
To quote John Hammond from Jurassic Park, people are dying.
To me, it just
R.I.P. That's not a joke. R.I.P. People are dying.
I
think that you being unfair to them because we're going through a pandemic and we haven't had Marvel content in a year, and so it just was like, we finna get some Marvel content, and then when you saw it, it was like, soft.
Not especially after all y'all was shitting on Wonder Woman. You know, if y'all got the ability to open y'all ass cheeks and just shit all on a movie that's a 7, y'all was giving it 3s and 2s and all kind of shit like that. I can't give this a 6.5. If y'all was opening y'all ass cheeks and shitting all on Wonder Woman.
I enjoyed Wonder Woman. I
like Wonder Woman, so I liked Wonder Woman.
I like Wonder Woman. I enjoyed it.
As a whole,
it was fun for what it was.
And I'm a consensus guy. Like when I grade shit by me that I like, but I still can look at the consensus and see what they say. And the consensus on these 2 first episodes is that the shit is boring.
It is boring.
Ricky just brilliant. Ricky is just brilliant. That's all that is.
I'm telling you.
So he can see shit that people don't see. So that's why he like it.
It is San Antonio Spurs. It's Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan is the most boring superstar in the history of the NBA. And he's a top 5 all-time NBA player. At least top 10.
But just watch him win a championship.
We're going to agree to disagree. We're going to agree to disagree. But before we get out of here, Ricky, what does your wife, is she around?
She is around, yes.
What does she think about it? I want to know her rating. I want her. I want to know.
Hey, babe.
I want to know if I'm on this island by myself.
On a scale of 1 to 10, we need you to rate the first 2 episodes of WandaVision. Juicy needs to know if he's crazy. He needs to know if he's out there.
I definitely wouldn't give it a 9.
You wouldn't give it a 9.
No. I'm gonna go 6.8 and a 7.
Thank you.
God.
I'm not by myself. I know I'm not crazy. I know that I'm not crazy.
Okay, but a 7 is good.
That's average.
A 7. If you're going out of 10, a 5 is average.
A 5 is not average. A 5 is below average.
She told me she thinks it's going to be a 9, but that's not a 9.
That's not how you start a show the way they did. But I think
and I agree with her. That's exactly what I'm saying. The show might be a 9 or a 10, but we are grading these first 2 episodes as is. This is all that I see. I got a grade off what I see.
But it's got to be some appreciation there for the
I
setup,
do.
Juicy.
I appreciate it.
I'm talking about the setup. If the overall show at the end ends up being a 9 or a 10, it's got to start somewhere, and the setup is a part of that. So you can't come back around at the end if it's a 10 and rank the whole show a 10 now because you didn't have enough appreciation for the setup.
No. It's how you stick It's how you stick the landing. It's how you stick the landing.
You cannot rate an album a 10 if you gave the intro and the first 2 songs on the album a 4. You can't do that.
If you go back and connect, like if it's Duckworth, like damn, I can.
You cannot give the Dark Knight trilogy a 10 as a trilogy and rank Batman Begins a 4. You can't do it.
Well, it's not a 10. It's not a 10 as a trilogy then, because Batman Begins is like a 7.
A 7 is good.
Okay, well then it's not a 10 as a trilogy.
What's 10 plus 9 plus 7 and then divide that?
9. Hold on, what's a 9?
The Dark Knight Rises is 9.
Not 9. Ricky, hold on.
Very freely.
What's your address?
Batman Begins is a 9.
A 9.
The Dark Knight is a 10. The Dark Knight Rises is a 9.5.
Oh my god.
I just give The Dark Knight Rises a 9. I give Batman Begins like a 6. So,
Batman Begins is
that's worse than me. I gave it a 7.
God's gonna die on this hill.
Batman Begins is a 9.
Oh my, what?
That shit is not a 9.
That
shit can't hold a candle.
Real origin story of Bruce Wayne that we got a Bruce Wayne on the screen.
Fam, that don't hold the counter. A Civil War is like a 9. That don't hold the counter.
No, it is not. Captain America Civil War is not a 9.
How the fuck you give Batman Begins a 9 and not Civil War?
Batman Begins is a better movie.
Get the fuck out of here. Not this Civil War.
Captain America Civil War's final scene is better than the final scene in Batman Begins.
That's a part of the movie.
A better movie.
Yo.
Captain America Civil War
is better than every scene from Batman Begins.
Civil War, Captain America Civil War didn't even know what type of movie it wanted to be. It had 2 different atmospheres.
Fam.
No.
Civil War ain't better than Thor. Not Civil War. Batman Begins ain't better than Thor Dark World.
Stop. Now we're going to deal with something. We have to go outside.
Keeping it a beam. Batman Begins is not better than Thor Dark World.
It's not a 9, but it's not a 6 either.
Thor Dark World is easily like a 3. I'm sorry.
Batman Begins is a 7.
I can see that. All right, well, we're going to have to let y'all go because otherwise we'll be sitting here all night arguing, coming up with new shit. So we're going to close this out. We're going to do this every week. I don't know if they're releasing 1 or 2 episodes next week, but we'll be back next week to break shit down. Hopefully it gets better. If not, I'm going to be opening my ass cheeks and shitting on it again.
And one thing about that people are dying comment. That's a tasteless comment. I want to take it back because it really, that wasn't me making light of the pandemic situation, but still.
You ain't gotta apologize, man. You said what you said. You gotta stand on it.
No, I can't stand on that
Die
one.
on that hill again.
All right. Well, Ricky, thanks for coming on. Hopefully you'll be on every episode that we do breaking this shit down.
Will be nice. Will be nice.
Other than that, we'll see you guys next week. Nova Trifecta, we are out, baby.